Life isn't just about passing on your genes. We can leave behind much more than just DNA. Through speech, music, literature, and movies, what we've seen, heard, felt, anger, joy, and sorrow. These are the things I will pass on. That's what I live for. We need to pass the torch and let our children read our messy and sad history by its light. We have all the magic of the digital age to do that with. The human race will probably come to an end sometime, and new species may rule over this planet. Earth may not be forever, but we still have the responsibility to leave what traces of life we can. Building the future and keeping the past alive are one and the same thing.
No power in the verse can stop me.
What's going on, guys? My name is Aldeniro, and welcome to another episode of The Midnight Hour. We're going old school today, and this will be the first episode that's followed this format in about 2 months, or maybe even more than that. I'm joined by a man who played just as big of a role in the creation of this show as I did, who helped me cultivate the atmosphere and essence and the brilliant nonsensical ramblings that we have on pretty much every episode today. I'm joined by the original person who was part of the Sea People creation and all of that good stuff, Jack Swagasaurus.
Oh yeah.
You need to come up with a better name.
No, yeah, well, not only a better name, but I need to actually decide on what I'm going to say for my first sentence of the podcast before you kind of just go, it's Jack, and I go, oh shit, I've got to say something.
I'm always here.
Yeah, hello everybody, my name's Jack, I have a beard. I've been very busy with work recently. Yeah, that's about it really.
Yeah, work is killing the midnight hour. Your job is. You're so selfish. Instead of doing this for free, you're working for people for money. You sold out, man.
I know. Yeah. I've literally sold out. Yeah.
It's just completely unacceptable.
Literally, I can't even.
Exactly. Yeah, I've lost the ability to can. You know, I just can't.
I know. On a scale of 1 to even, I'm 1, 3, 5, 7, 9.
I'm 500% done right now. That's all I can say. Today our topic is the bucket list, which, if you're not familiar with the term, if you're not from an English speaking country or whatever, it's essentially a list that is composed of things that you want to achieve or do or see or whatever before you die. And a lot of cliches that follow people's thoughts about bucket lists include skydiving, going to see the Northern Lights, going to Disneyland apparently is a really popular one.
Yeah.
We don't know how we're going to follow this in a format though, but we know that we wanted to talk about this for a while. So Jack has showed me this list from a website called 50things.org.uk, which is 50 with a 50, not spelt out like the word. And it's got a list of 50 things, surprisingly enough, of things that you should have done before you were 11 3/4. I don't know why specifically that age. I think after that age is when your soul dies and you...
Yeah, because 12's the middle ground between your youth and being a teenager, and it's just where your soul starts to die.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. You start to accept the completely disalarming reality, or the alarming reality of everything around you and how miserable life is. So... before all of that, you do all of these things apparently. Number 1, climb a tree. Did you ever climb a tree as a kid?
Yeah, I'm not sure any child has not climbed a tree, even just accidentally.
Yeah, no.
You know, like even just walking through the woods and there's been a tree lying down, and instead of actually climbing one, they've just kind of walked up the fallen down log. Like,
yeah,
it's climbing a tree. It's really not difficult. I'm really hoping that these things will get harder and harder as they go along.
Yeah, that one
like
was
leveling
easy.
up.
I hope actually, if you guys in the comment section want to like answer these along with us, that would be awesome, because we have literally got no insight of what the youth of today are doing. So for all we know, you guys don't climb trees anymore. You just play Minecraft and shout racial slurs at people.
And climb trees on Minecraft.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do it outside? What's the point?
You build a tree and then you climb it, and that's how it works now. I remember one thing I actually did want to sort of put on my, not really on my bucket list, but it's one of those things that I've always wanted, was a treehouse. Like, have you ever seen American TV in movies and TV shows?
Yeah,
they have those incredible tree houses that
like multi-story tree houses. Yeah,
how badass are they?
running water and electricity.
Yeah.
I didn't have a tree substantial enough I haven't seen a tree substantial enough in anybody's back garden in England.
I haven't seen a tree in weeks. No, I'm just kidding.
It's because you haven't been outside in weeks.
My house actually overlooks a valley, and like all I have to do is pull the curtain apart, and I see like 50 trees. So I see a lot. of trees.
I live just outside central London, so having a tree large enough to sustain a fat kid is a rare thing to come by.
You are surrounded by a jungle, but it's a concrete one, so it's not quite the same. But like I thought, like if I ever had kids or whatever, and I retreated to some simple suburban existence like they do in the movies, a multi-layered treehouse would be fucking awesome to have. Like, even just for me, like I'll build it when the kid is still in the womb, and I'll just go up and hang out there and read a book or whatever, because it seems pretty cool. It's hard to get some alone time, in the world. And
well, I mean, it's like in The Simpsons where Homer starts living in the treehouse because he gets kicked out by Marge.
That's right, yeah.
It's just a youthful place, really.
Yeah, it is. It's common sense, practical. Yeah. Number 2 on the list is roll down a really big hill.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was a pretty hefty kid, and rolling was the easiest way for me to get downhill.
I was a chunky kid as well. Like I used to not be able to when like you take your right hand, you put it on your left wrist. I used to not even be able to touch my fingers with my thumb around my wrist. Like,
blimey.
Now I can touch my baby finger. I've got a really small frame, but I used to not be able to do it, which is really weird thinking about it now. But I used to roll down hills too. Rolling down hills was really fun. My cousin Dara, who was a guest on episode 5, he lives on a lot of land. And when he was a kid, he did this thing where there's it's not really a hill as such, but it's a definite slope in the ground.
Yeah.
And he got loads of plastic sheeting and put it on the ground, and then put fairy liquid all down it.
Water fairy liquid. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's something that I never actually did as a kid, but that's not on the list, I hope. So that's fun.
Oh, well, we'll have to see.
Yeah. Let's move on. You can do the next one because of the...
No, yeah, Camp Out in the Wild is the next one.
I never actually did that.
No, I don't think I did either. I didn't even do the old weak version of just camping in your back garden.
Nah, me neither. And I had several opportunities to do so just from spending time at my cousin's house. I'll probably mention my cousin a lot in this because I spent a lot of my childhood at his house. But he used to have an actual tent, an Action Man tent, and
nice.
When we were kids, we made several plans to be like, we'll stay in the tent for the night, and then when it's dark outside, we can play fucking Spies or whatever. But it would always get to 9 o'clock and be like, fuck this, you want to go watch a movie? Yeah, let's do that. This is bullshit anyway. I did camp at a festival once, but...
Yeah, oh well, that's close enough. No. But then this is before we were 11 3/4.
Yeah.
Right. No, yeah, that definitely didn't happen before I was 12.
No, not a chance. Have you ever camped out in the wild at all?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I spent a month in Ecuador. We did a fair amount of walking and camping out there during that month. So yeah, I've definitely had my fair share of time in maybe not the English wilderness, but in a wilderness.
I hate you for having been to Ecuador. I have when Facebook was first a thing, back in late 2007, early 2008. I made my Facebook account because my cousin from Canada was telling me all about it. It wasn't even big in Ireland or the UK.
No, yeah.
And I made my account, and at the time you didn't have to have a second name. So I just had my first name, and everybody at the time in the Americas, South America, whatever, and Asia as well. I got a lot of Asian friend requests. They were all using Facebook as a tool to communicate with, essentially find a digital pen pal, so that they could enhance their knowledge of English. And loads of people added me. I have about 150 friends on Facebook that I don't even know who the fuck they are. But there's a girl from Ecuador who's my friend, and she doesn't speak a word of English, but I'm definitely in love with her, and she is definitely the one. So I would love to go to Ecuador and
one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day.
It will happen. That's on my bucket list, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Just to find this strange Ecuadorian girl that you've never actually had a proper conversation with,
or any kind of interaction with, apart from liking the occasional picture of hers, and that's it. But
just to remind her that you're still alive.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I exist. Remember that time you added me? Yeah, why don't you follow up on that? Why don't we get somewhere with that? Let's set those wheels in motion. But yeah,
Oh dear.
camping is not really for me. I don't think
No.
it's awkward and lonely and cold and
I enjoy being out and doing outdoorsy things, like, and I've definitely done number 4, which is build a den.
yeah, I've done that out of couch pillows. Built a fort.
I've done it. Do you know what? In all honesty, I've probably done it more recently since I started. Well, since I started drinking
Yeah.
and going out into the woods with a crate and just building a den and sitting in a den and drinking. Because that doesn't sound massively depressing as a teenager.
No, definitely not. No.
Oh yeah,
Sounds-
doing it as a grown man is depressing. Doing it with your mates when you're 16 is cool.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's my reasoning behind it anyway.
Oh, look at that grown man who's really drunk and building a den. Yeah, that's perfectly normal behavior.
There's a point where you go from looking like a yobbo teenager to just looking homeless.
Yeah, that's true. I walk that line pretty finely as well sometimes because
Yeah.
I might fear the barbers and the fact that I think shaving is the most inconvenient thing that a man has to do, which actually shows how
Tell me
easy
about it.
life for us is in comparison to women. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I definitely do look pretty rugged sometimes. I'm sure if I was to sit in the streets of London, someone would throw me change after a while. But
Oh yeah, definitely. There are times when I'm a can of Special Brew away from being homeless. Like,
yeah, I do understand. I remember like once walking around the streets of London at fucking 2:30 in the morning after going over to see Spurs against AC Milan, drinking a
Nice.
can of Red Stripe. Like, I'm obviously homeless in that situation. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
lovely hotel to go to, but homeless.
No,
you
yeah.
know.
But very homeless looking.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely.
Number 5 on the list is skim a stone. So you're throwing it off some water and it bounces.
Yep.
This took me a long time to master. I actually remember trying to master this, and it was really, really difficult.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, I never managed to get it until I was quite a bit older than 12.
Oh, really?
Just because it was just kind of a thing where, well, I never really went around water enough to practice, as it were.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it was just a thing of when I was younger, just launch it as hard as possible. I didn't realise it's all in the wrist.
Yeah, see, I don't think I could do it now, because for whatever reason, I just can't throw. Like, I actually have the worst throw in the world. But I remember, like, the first time I did this, the second house I ever lived in, it was just standard estate, like, kind of suburban area, and there was a football pitch right across the street from me, and then there was a wall around the football pitch, and if you climb over the wall, you get onto the train tracks. And I used to, sometimes me and my friends would walk along the train tracks, and just, it takes you to this complete countryside basically, and there's one stop on the train tracks, like a bridge that was over some water, and we used to just take loads of rocks from the train tracks, because you can get those rocks on train tracks that are the slim sort of smooth ones. So we take those and start throwing them, and I think I had this mastered by the time I was like 8, so
Oh well, fair
I
enough.
was winning as a kid, you know. It's adulthood is where it all went wrong for me, really. Like, as a kid, I was balling all the time.
Well, I mean, that is something that I will never equal you on.
Yeah.
Is skimming stones.
It's probably the only area that you'll never equal me on, but like, I've got you there with skimming stones.
Yeah,
Um,
skimming stones.
number 6, run around in the rain. If you didn't do this as a kid, there's something wrong, really.
No, yeah, I mean, it's difficult not to live in England or Ireland or Scotland or Wales and not do it. Mostly because it could be sunny one minute and you'll be out running around in the sun, and then accidentally you're running around in the rain.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
just about to say that as well. John Rivers is dead. This
Yeah.
is we're recording this like a week in advance, people. So Joan Rivers has just died, like, live on the Midnight Hour.
That's that's awkward.
She picked the wrong time to die, because, like, wasn't it like 2 weeks ago she said she didn't feel any sympathy for anyone dying in Gaza?
Yeah, something like that.
So, like, before that happened, people would have been like, oh, that's really sad that she's dead. But now it's happened, and people are like, oh, well, I hope she gets
Yeah.
reincarnated as a young Arab boy.
No, yeah.
Probably shouldn't have said
No.
that.
Oh, that's getting cut.
Yeah, so running around in the rain, that's just the thing that happened. Like, you know,
Yeah.
live especially, yeah, like you say, living in England. I lived in Ireland. They're not well known for their climate, and I used to love as a kid just watching the rain, like watching heavy rain, just sitting outside watching it, and it's good times.
No, yeah. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of the rain. I just think it's impractical and boring. But,
It's impractical. It's like kind of one of the life sources of the planet.
well, yeah, but whatever.
Yeah, it's like oxygen. Like, who cares?
Yeah. Who gives a shit? You know, who needs it?
I never did number 7.
Hang on. Number 7. Fly a kite.
Yeah.
No. I can't even remember the last time I even saw a kite.
Yeah, I've only ever seen them in movies. I'm pretty sure they don't even exist.
I think this is a thing of Americans with really big kites, or the Japanese with really fancy kites.
Yeah.
And Mary Poppins. Like, I don't think flying a kite is a thing.
No, I don't
in
think so
England.
either.
Like, I just don't think it's a thing.
I never even knew anybody who mentioned kites before. Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
No, yeah. I never had a friend who was like, "Oh, do you know what we should do this weekend? Fly some kites." It's like, no. Like,
Yeah, who wants to do that? It's stupid. It's impractical and it's boring.
It's impractical and it's boring. Yeah, quite frankly.
Never did number 8 either. Catch a fish with
Catch
a
a
net.
fish with a net. Nope. Actually, no. Tell a lie. I did.
Really?
That's a lie. Yeah, I used to go with my grandparents to this place that was like a dam on a reservoir, and well, not a reservoir. It wouldn't have been, because reservoirs are usually drinking water. They don't have fishes in them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It was some sort of lake with a dam, and the dam used to trickle down into a nice little river with loads of little fishies in. Used to be able to go and capture them there.
And kill them.
Yeah, eat them raw.
Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah, did that a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
But no, I remember trying to catch fish with a net. I remember having the net. It's like a bamboo stick with some green net at the end of it. That's the one that everyone had.
Yeah. That's the one that everyone had.
Yeah.
And no one ever seemed. You never actually bought them. They just kind of.
They just meticulate,
appeared when you needed one. Yeah.
Or materialize.
Yeah.
Meticulate? No, that's
Meticulated. I don't even know if that's a word.
It seems like it could be.
It might be.
It definitely is. Just completely used it in the wrong context. But
I haven't done number 9. Eat an apple straight from a tree.
I haven't even done the first 3 words of that one. I've never eaten an apple, you know. I have. I eat an apple like once every 5 years or so.
No, yeah, it's like an eclipse. You know, every time you eat an apple.
Yeah,
it's a special time.
Yeah, it's a special occasion that should be. It's one of those. The only time I ever eat an apple is when I have a health scare or something where I have something wrong with me and I Google it and find out that I'm pregnant and have brain cancer, and then I'm like, shit, man, I should eat healthy. So I eat an apple and then forget about it the next day, and the pain goes away, and then everything's fine again, and that's my life, really, you know. Number 10, play conkers.
Yeah, I was in the. I think we were both in the youth before people got scared about kids being killed by conkers. So
yeah,
managed to get in there and hit some tossers with a conker. You know.
I remember collecting conkers, but I never played conkers.
Really?
I don't even know what it is. Is it the thing where you hold it out on a string and then?
Yeah. You just thwack them.
Yeah, I never played that.
And you always accidentally seem to hit the hand of the person you don't like.
Yeah.
You know.
Those are my favourite kinds of accidents. But yeah, no, I never played conkers at all. Well, I collected loads of them though, just never played them. I don't even know what they are. What do they even do? What's their purpose?
The purpose of conkers is to be hit by other conkers while on a length of string.
Yeah, it's one of those evolutionary things.
No, yeah, definitely.
Where? Oh yeah, number 11.
Where are we? We're lost.
Yeah,
we're
the list goes
it's all
up
gone
from
off.
Right. Go on a really long bike ride.
Yeah, I definitely did this one.
Yeah, so
and I don't know what constitutes as really long, because as a child, I think a really long bike ride is anything longer than about 20 minutes.
I think a really long bike ride as a child was anything past the 4th block on your estate.
No, yeah,
where
exactly.
Your mum would come out and scream at you to come back. But,
Yeah, as soon as you're out of eyesight, that's a really long ride, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I went on plenty of those. It was actually really fun as a kid, cycling a bike. I don't do it at all now. I know you do it all the time.
No, yeah.
But
Well, not all the time, but whenever I can.
yeah.
Gotta love being shouted at by drivers. It's great
Oh
fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a thing.
Great
yeah.
fun.
You guys have a horrible reputation amongst drivers,
Oh,
and
yeah.
drivers have a horrible reputation amongst you.
I know, but I'm a driver and a cyclist, so I bridge the gap.
Oh
In
shit!
some
Yeah.
I'm in some magical, like, mid-ground.
I
where I
forget.
hate
I always
everyone.
forget that you're a driver. I don't know why. I just
Yeah, it's probably because if you imagine me driving, it's very aggressive and terrifying.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And plus, every time I've met you, it's always been because we've always
drunk,
been
yeah.
drinking. Yeah. So.
No, yeah, which is probably I was gonna say it's probably not a good thing, but I'm not here to judge us.
No, me
No,
neither.
yeah. Good stuff.
I'm here only to talk about us in a positive light. So.
No, yeah.
Number 12, make a trail with sticks. Yeah, I never did that.
No, yeah, I wasn't. Oh well, I was in like Cubs. Are you aware of Cubs and Beavers and Scouts and stuff?
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
those.
yeah, good. I was in the Cubs, but I never bothered with any of that stick bullshit.
I never did. I never was in the Cubs. One of my friends was in it, and he used to just dress like what I at the time would consider to be not the way that I wanted to ever dress. So I was like,
No, yeah, I don't think I'd ever want to dress how I had to dress at points.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I ever want to wear that scarf thing with I'm pretty sure is called a woggle or something like that.
I'm not even sure. I
don't
just
know.
know
It's
that.
something that sounds like it could be racist.
Yeah. I hated any type of uniformity, and I still do. I just hate the fact that you have to dress casual for whatever. Like, I think it's such an outdated concept that doesn't make any sense to me now. Like, I don't know why. Oh, you have to dress smart because you're going to a fancy place. Like, that just seems like bullshit to me. I used to be so fucking offended. Like, I remember when I first learned how to count, and I counted how many hours a week I had to sit in my school uniform and wear my school uniform, which at the time I probably counted like 1,000 hours a week because I can't count anyway, even as an adult. But it literally offended me. Like, I was like, this is bullshit. Like, why can't I just wear whatever I want? Like, who fucking cares? Why does it make a difference? And I'm still like that today. I don't get why I have to wear like smart business wear to work in an office where nobody ever comes in. Like,
no, yeah, I don't know. It's just all about, like you said, like uniformity. Like, wearing a uniform is about being uniform.
yeah,
And
it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's bullshit, but unfortunately, until we start owning businesses and start being kind of like, yeah, what the fuck you want, nothing's going to change.
It's only a matter of time before we
Yeah.
own businesses. I can see it happening.
Yeah, I'll own a business in shit.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, I'll own a business in stuff, and you'll own a business in things.
Yes.
Yeah, and it'll just be great.
It will, yeah. We'll rule all the things and all the stuff as well. Oh, God. I'm getting excited about it now. What the fuck is number 13 about? Can you decipher that?
Number 13, make a mud pie. I don't even know what a mud pie is.
Neither do I. It doesn't sound healthy, though.
No, I don't know. Like,
No.
I'm way too lazy to Google it.
Yeah, I'm not Googling that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Number 14,
yeah.
Damas Stream.
Damn a stream. Yeah. You can, if you had found me at 9 years old, you can often find me, standing over a stream going, "The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels." Oh, that's an awful joke. Can we move on from this one, because that is an awful joke, and I'm not sure anything better is going to happen with that one.
15, like, this is play in the snow. No, I never played in the
Play in
snow.
the snow, no, yeah, because whenever it I don't even remember the last time it snowed when I was a kid. Like, when it actually snowed when I was a kid, because fucking England. Like,
I remember it snowed, the heaviest snow I can remember as a kid was the top of the yard in school got closed off because there were a few snowflakes on the ground, and that was it. It was like a section of about, I'd say, 2 meters wide that got closed off because there was a little bit of snow on it. And then I remember about, 3 years ago when we had that mega snow that fucked the entire country.
Yeah, for days and weeks.
Where was that when I was a kid?
I know,
I never
exactly.
got fucking snow day or anything.
I didn't get to experience actual snow until I was about 15.
Yeah.
like a short of like a thin layer on the floor. Until I was about 15, I didn't actually see what proper snow was like.
No, me neither.
Which
it's
is ridiculous.
Bullshit. Like, I remember as well, one day, like, you know how they closed off loads of schools because the pipes were frozen, they couldn't get heat in and everything? Like, one time my school literally, over the weekend, like, kids came to the school, or teenagers or whatever, and they smashed all the windows in the school. And I had to come into school on Monday in the freezing cold, sitting there in a classroom with literally no fucking windows. Like, where was your fucking snow day then? Like, where was my day off because of the cold? It was bullshit. I'm still offended about that. It's nonsense. Not fair at all.
That's pretty daft. Like, I've sat in plenty of classrooms where you sit there and you can see your own breath, and it's like, this is illegal. This must be illegal.
I've had so many times like that. I hated school.
I know.
Number 16, make a daisy chain. I could never do this.
No, my little fat ham fists couldn't touch daisies without destroying them.
Yeah. All the girls I used to hang around with used to make them all the time, and I used to be like, how do you do that? And they'd be like, oh, it's easy, you just do this. And I'd be like, I can't do it.
They don't show you, they kind of cover it up with their hands as they do it, and then all of a sudden, bang, it's like that.
Yeah, wankers.
Yeah.
Number 17, set up a snail race. I never
set
did
up
that.
a snail race?
That sounds really, like, long-winded and...
No, yeah, that sounds like a very dull experience.
Yeah. 18, create some wild art.
No.
Describe that, though, because some would say that pyromania is art. No, just
oh, well, then, in that case...
What the hell is number 19? Do you know what that
number
is?
Number 19, play poo sticks.
What's that?
I know I was a bit of a weird kid, but I wasn't that weird.
No.
I am not aware of what poo sticks is, and by the sound of the poo sticks...
Yeah, it's not...
it's not something I want to play.
No, me neither. Number 20, jump over waves. Yeah, I did that.
No, yeah, I did that. I've been on a holiday.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I've been to the beach. Yeah.
I've been to a large body of water at some point in my life. Yes,
exactly. Done. Number 21, pick blackberries growing in the... No, who does that? You don't want to eat anything that you...
No, this is a similar one as the eat an apple straight from a tree thing. Like, no.
Yeah, I don't want to put my mouth on nature.
No, yeah, fruit was not a big thing on my mind as a child.
No, in fact, it
was.
could not have been further from my mind.
Chocolate was a big thing that was on my mind, and that doesn't grow on trees.
And ice cream as well.
No, yeah.
You can only dream of ice cream trees.
No, yeah. Oh, no. Ice cream trees. Just don't.
Speaking of trees, number 22, explore the inside of a tree.
I probably have actually done this one.
Yeah, I've done it. There's a giant redwood
nice.
on my cousin's property. It's awesome, you know. It's a giant fucking tree that you can see inside, which is just pretty badass. But
nice.
Number 23, visit a farm. Yes, I've been on a school trip.
No, yeah, been on a school trip, and there was there used to be like a petting farm / zoo kind of deal that I always used to go to when I was a kid, and it was like £2 for a bucket of feed, and you could just walk around and feed various farm animals.
Yeah.
In retrospect, it's the laziest style of farming in the world.
Yeah, it's fucking lame.
You know, I know. Instead of actually doing the farming and feeding the animals ourselves, we can not even hire. We can get children to pay us to feed the animals. Like, that is genius as far as I'm concerned. Genius.
We should write down some notes for our
business. Yeah, exactly.
You know, a lot of these are really shit. I'm just gonna skip to the good ones for you because make a grass trumpet. Well, that's another one. That's putting your mouth on nature. I'm not about that. I just don't.
I'm not about that.
No, I'm not
about that life.
No, I'm not about that fucking putting your mouth on nature life.
I want to question number 33. Catch a falling leaf. Like, I've never walked past a tree and just thought, I'm gonna wait until a leaf falls. Oh yes. Yeah. Here we go. This is gonna be a good one.
Check out the crazy creatures in a rock pool.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think I've done that. If by crazy creatures you mean crabs and starfish, but then again they're not exactly that crazy. No, if I had found some humanoid type sea creatures, possibly of the people variety, then yeah, I'd count that. But you know,
which we all know has happened.
Exactly. Who hasn't had an experience with the sea people?
Yeah, not a lot of people, judging from the tweets that I get pretty regularly. Number 45, right? Find your way with a map and compass. Who does if I'm lost in the middle of a desert or a forest or somewhere where I don't know where anything is and I have a compass, all that means is I'm going to get a little bit more lost, a little bit more north. Like, I don't know how compasses work. I have no idea how I could track my way back home.
I'll tell you what, I've just been looking at some of these, and number 49 really shows how times have changed from when we were kids. Find a geocache.
What the fuck is a geocache?
Exactly. What? If I'm thinking right, a geocache is basically this little box that you can put stuff in for the next person to find, and it has the coordinates or the location of another box, and you just go from like box to box putting stuff in it.
And
or
where do the boxes
come from? I don't know. Yeah, this is all a bit suspect. This sounds like finding a geocache as a child sounds like a paedophile trap.
Yeah, it does. I did find one once, but it was just a stick with a rope tied to it and a block of cheese underneath it.
Was the stick propping up a box by any chance?
Yeah.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, and the box said candy inside.
But it had cheese. Now that's an interesting ruse that they've performed.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, they know that kids love cheese, don't they?
I loved cheese as a kid.
I love cheese as an adult as well.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time I had a meal without cheese on it.
Cheese is great.
Cheese is fantastic.
Should we just talk about cheese for the rest of this podcast?
What is your favourite kind of cheese?
I don't know if it's pronounced Gouda or Gouda, because I always used to pronounce Gouda. So, Gouda, basically. What about
like
you?
Mozzarella.
Oh, yeah, definitely, because I'm not sure you could... pizzas wouldn't be as good if it was any other type of cheese.
I also like extra cheese.
Yeah. What kind of pizza do you like? With extra cheese?
Yeah, that's the one. Extra cheese and bacon all day, every
I
day.
love cheese so much that when I was younger and my parent, we used to buy pre-made, uncooked pizzas from the supermarket, I used to grate extra cheese on top of the pizza.
No, I do that as an adult.
No, yeah, I'd do that if I eat pizza often enough, which I don't, which makes me sad. No, yeah.
I had pizza yesterday. I had a burger today. All cheese.
I had 4 burgers today. No buns or anything. I just had them with couscous. That was a sad moment in my life. They were steak burgers. They were really nice. Why are we talking about this?
I don't know. Because when you were finished with those burgers, you marked it off the bucket list.
No, yeah. I really did, yeah.
That's
just on my bucket list, eat burgers with no buns.
Yes. That's a tragic bucket list. What's number 1 on your bucket list? What's one thing that always comes to your mind when you think of it?
Oh, I'm gonna be so cliche. It's actually impossible to get any more cliche than the number 1 thing on my bucket list.
I want to see the pyramids.
I want to travel the world. No, but seriously though.
Yeah.
I do legitimately want to travel the world.
Yeah, so do I.
And I'm not sure why it wouldn't be on anyone's bucket list. Why you? Yeah,
that's why it's so bad. Cliches are cliches for a reason.
Yeah, it's a cliche for a reason.
Exactly.
I don't want to do the kind of travelling that a lot of people seem to want to do, where they just go to the capital city and spend their time in a nice hostel or a nice, or a cheap hotel and wander about for a couple of days. I want to
do the kind where I go and find all the Irish bars.
No, yeah, I want to get right out of my comfort zone and disappear into, well, not disappear, but off into the woodlands of a country for a little while, or just off into experience the smaller villages and the smaller towns and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is something that's always been sort of on my mind. I listened to a lot of Bruce Springsteen as a kid. My mum had his greatest hits album in the car, and then from there I started finding other albums and stuff. And he sings in a lot of his earlier albums. You'll find a lot of tracks about those sort of Americana 1970s seaside towns, and it makes me want to go to places like that. I really like that sort of. It's more of an idyllic sort of quest, but it's definitely something that I've always wanted to do. Was just have you ever seen the movie The 25th Hour?
No, I haven't.
There's a scene in that where Edward Norton's dad is telling him oh, we can drive through the desert. Every man should see the desert, and it shows them driving through it, and there's all these separate towns and everything, and that's like, I'd love to travel through America in that way, not the Route 66 nonsense. I'd like to go through the places that aren't touristy places, just because I want to experience actual life, not tourist life, or not fucking life that's been designed to sell you things. Like, I want to see what life looks like in other places. That's interesting, like other cultural things.
You saying that kind of thing in America. There's a book by, and I've mentioned this all quite a few times now, Bill Bryson, and it's called The Lost Continent, and basically it's about his travels through small town America, and he's searching, and I can't remember what he calls the town, but it's like it's the name he gives to a town that's idyllic to him.
All right.
And it's kind of his travels through the country, going to almost basically every state, and searching for this town which he would kind of think is the ideal.
Oh yeah.
And that's quite
awesome.
That's quite a nice idea. Searching for this town, like nicely by the seaside, not too touristy, kind of quiet and residential, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I want to buy that book because I remember looking into it when you mentioned it before, but thinking I didn't get the push I needed to buy it. But now that you say that, like, that's literally what I just described pretty much, is that sort of thing. I've always really liked that, and I don't know why. It's you see it portrayed in movies a lot too, and you think, like, while it might not look like an amazing place, it would just be really nice to go there and I don't know, see what's up, I suppose.
I mean, I'll forever recommend reading anything Bill Bryson writes. I think he's fantastic.
There's the book The Beach by Alex Garland. That style of sort of travel fiction, I don't know how else you would describe it, but that's awesome to me, because in the book The Beach, like, you'll want to go to Thailand after you read it. He describes all these incredible beaches and like the white sand and the corals and all of that stuff, and it just makes you want to go there, even though, like, it's a story within that. But I think what he was really doing there was he came up with a story and wanted to describe his travels, and that's something that I fully understand, and I'd love to do that. Like, Maya Bay in Thailand is a place I'd love to go. But again, what puts me off is the fact that, like, in my head, it's the beach from the movie The Beach. But in reality, it's a place where there are 5,000 other people on the beach, and I'm just like, not really bothered anymore. Like, I want places where I'm a hipster, a travel hipster.
A travel hipster. You want to be able to say, oh yeah, I went to this small village in Northern Africa. You wouldn't know the name of the country, so I won't bother telling you. But
it's Kenya. You wouldn't have heard of it. Never mind.
Yeah, you ever heard of Goa? I've been there. Where else? That other African country. The other one that everyone always goes to. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just get
I'm
gap
so
yarn.
over that country.
Yeah. Just get all gap yarn people.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But that there's tons of places I'd love to go to. Iceland as well. Just it seems incredible. Like, the scenery there just looks unbelievable. Like,
I think, to be honest, I think I'd like to go to most countries in Europe. I think all of them have got a fair amount to offer.
Yeah, Scandinavia and Iceland sort of interest me the most, because in my head they're cold and
harsh. The Nordic countries kind of.
Yeah,
I know what you mean. I can't quite put it into words. They're kind of just got this kind of, I don't want to say steely beauty, but
no, I think that's
like, kind of it. It's kind of a very steely look to it, kind of
plus,
whites
I like
and greys and silvers.
Any climate that encourages me to wear more hats is, that's what I'm really looking for here.
Any climate that encourages sitting indoors near a fire and drinking.
Yeah, that's actually another thing. Although apparently it costs like 200 quid for a pint in Scandinavia, so maybe give that idea a miss. But I would love to go there, like Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland as well, which some people class as Scandinavia, some people don't. I don't know. It was always just 3 countries in Scandinavia when I was growing up, so I don't know what changed, but that's always interested me. Where else? Like South America to a degree, but I don't really know enough about it. I watched a movie recently called Monsters. I mentioned it the last time we were in a Skype call, and a lot of that movie is just the two main characters sort of trekking through South America, and it's supposed to be Mexico, but it's quite clearly not. Because the border between America and Mexico in the movie is in the middle of a forest, which like it's not in real life. It's in a desert, but wherever they were, it looked incredible. The scenery in that movie was what made it good, and that's sort of why I wanted to. There's another movie. Have you ever seen The River Wild with Kevin Bacon? And
no, I haven't.
It's just the scenery in it is amazing. The movie is actually it's decent, but the scenery is just incredible in it. But
I think like, you know, I'd like to go to one of those kind of islands in the middle of the Caribbean. You know, white sandy beaches, the little huts, and you know, cocktails and all that kind of thing. That's nice, and that'll be a nice thing to do once. But it'd be even nicer to be able to go to a load of different countries and experience the actual cultures, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, another Japan and
I think that'd definitely be ridiculously interesting.
Yeah, I've talked to my friend Steve, who he spoke when he was on the podcast. He spoke about his time in Japan and how it was a little bit weird as a Westerner being there, and I want that weirdness. Like the movie Lost in Translation made me really want to go to Tokyo.
One of the things that just fascinates me is how difficult I'd probably find it just getting around in Japan.
Yeah, I
especially
agree,
just with, you know, because I mean they don't use the you know, the Latin-based language.
No.
And that'd just send me straight up shit creek without a paddle.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a bit scary. Like I mean, I had a hard time. I had a hard time getting around Glasgow when I moved there, so can't imagine what it would be like in somewhere like Japan. But it's actually that forest, the Jukai, where everyone goes to kill themselves. I'd love to go to that forest one day, because beyond its creepy reputation as a place that harbors, you know, spirits of people long gone, it actually seems like a really lovely place, like a really scenic and serene sort of on volcanic land area. Like it's just awesome.
I downloaded a plugin quite a while ago for Chrome. I can't remember what it's called, but basically when you open a new tab, it comes up with it's called Momentum. And you open a new tab and it comes up with the time, and it says good evening, and then whatever name you enter in. So obviously mine says good evening Jack. Then it asks what your main focus is for today, and it's set on a background, usually, you know, these ridiculously beautiful pictures of backgrounds, and it's it's really nice, and they always include where it is in the world and who it was taken by, and it's always kind of a nice reminder that, you know, I should get out there and try and see some stuff.
I need to get that. I'm gonna get that right now, actually.
That's great.
I'm not signed in on Chrome. I can't remember my details, but I will get it. It's definitely gonna happen. The whole one thing on my bucket list is I'd love to be able to describe something without referencing a movie, because I think every place that I mentioned just then, I was like, yeah, have you seen this movie? Yeah, that movie was great.
Yes, well, you know, do you know what? Speaking of films, something else on my bucket list, you know, and hopefully I'm not too far away from this is actually to get an IMDb credit.
Oh yeah, that's really good one.
And not just kind of like a shitty, you know, I did this in, you know, this tiny little thing. You know, I want to actually have a decent IMDb credit where I come up as, you know, one of the first 10, 20, 30 people on the list of, you know, as the list comes up of cast and crew, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, yeah. I've always wanted I've always wanted to be somebody, enough of a somebody to have my own Wikipedia page. I thought that would be awesome to do. But that's actually really fucking difficult to do, I've noticed. Like, a lot of famous people that I like from bands or whatever, even their Wikipedia pages are just nothing, like just bones of it, where I could fill out a better description myself, and I've never even met the person, like, so but that sort of, I don't know, like, I guess it's different for you because you work in film essentially, and you've done film in university and whatever. That's something that I've always wanted, and this is pretty much my ultimate bucket list thing, is I've always wanted to write a book or a story or something substantial that I don't know how to describe it really. I've always just wanted to create something. Like I really enjoy creativity and expression through art and all of that stuff. And to write a book and just have a physical copy of a book that I wrote in my hand with like you know, a proper cover. And, I think that would just be incredible. Like that's my ultimate like dream. It's a dream because it's as TLC said, dreams are just hopeless aspirations.
No, I don't, with in the age of the internet, I don't think that you are too far. You're never. Anything's possible. Like writing a book, you can become a self-published author.
Yeah, I could.
That's no problem.
I could write one now and put it on Amazon.
Exactly. But it's writing something that you're proud of, and writing something that you can physically hold in your hand because it's actually been, picked up or published in, properly.
Yeah.
It's a completely different ball game,
It is, yeah. Like you're looking for so much more there. It's more just the actual. Like I've had several ideas, several hundred ideas probably for books and stories and movies in my head. Like over the last, I don't know, 5 years when I started properly writing things down. And I have so many ideas that I think, like the one thing I struggle with is ending the story. I've always ever since I was in school and everything, I can do the beginning and the middle quite well, but I can never really end it properly. And that's like most of my stories that I have in my head are the bones of it is like it's all pretty perfect. It's a good compelling story and how it starts and the characters will be good, but I just never come up with an ending for any of it really, and that's quite difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, like it's difficult because when you like to, you want to do the writing, and I'm more focused on film or short filmmaking at the moment, and I want to get out and film something and and make something and do something with my weekends instead of just sat on my arse doing nothing. And I've got a couple of ideas, but they're something that's not kind of just in the kind of a shape of a story. It's not a story, it's just a film to test things and experiment with things.
Yeah.
And while I want to do that, I also kind of look back at ideas that I've written down, and these bare bones ideas of what I would want to create, and kind of look at it and just think it's so pretentious seeming. Like
that's the hardest part of any thing that you have to do, is because you have to, the first key I think to being a writer or to being any kind of creative person is to view your creation as a person and not an editor, and I can never fucking do that. I haven't read that many books really. I've probably read more books than the average person that I went to school with or whatever, but a lot of the ideas that I have are sort of I don't follow someone else's blueprint, but I'm definitely inspired by other people, and I can't really write something down without thinking like, oh, I'm just stealing from someone else. I have a really difficult time appreciating my own work, and it's hard to get past that sort of initial stage of just looking at it and going, well, this is fucking shit, no one would ever read this is bullshit. Like you have to really drive, and that's the hardest part I think.
Something you saying something like about having stolen someone's work, or being too similar. Something that always amazes me, and I know that it's people can point out in popular music, that they're using the same chord progressions or whatever and all that, but with music, making fresh music and not having it be influenced too much by a different artist or a song already that's already been made, always kind of amazes me. That people can come up with a fresh, or not necessarily completely fresh, but like a newish, song, new tune, a new, set of lyrics. It's just something kind of that's kind of just beyond me.
Yeah, I don't really get it either.
No,
I can remember a few of my friends are musicians, and I'm not talking about the one guy that you all think I'm talking about that I mention all the time.
Jim.
But yeah.
Yeah, your mate Jim, yeah.
My mate Jim is just a massive musician. But I remember when a few of my friends we tried to all write a song together once. And we were listening to loads of other songs and coming up with ideas and stuff, and as one of my mates would play the piano and I'd be like, I've heard that before, it sounds so familiar, and then someone would just say like, that's why it's good, is because you think you've heard it before.
Yeah.
And the more I thought of it, like, the more true it is that if you take any, like, the beauty of a song or music or someone's creation in that is the production ultimately, because if you strip every single song down, they all sound the exact same. Like, I cannot tell the difference between, like, if someone starts playing Wonderwall on an acoustic guitar and then they turn around and play fucking Cannonball by Damien Rice, like, I can barely tell the difference. Like, I recognize in my head there's a tune and I know when the next line is, but if you were to play me instrumentals, acoustic instrumentals of popular songs from the last 10 years, I'd get every single one of them wrong. But if you played me like a playlist of actual popular songs from the last 10 years, I would get every single one of them right. Like, and it really annoys me that I can't differentiate it in my head, because it's just, it all sounds the same. And it's the same with piano music. Put any song and just play the piano chords of it, it will sound like it's all the same music. Like, so I think it comes down to production, I guess, and that's why producers are so important. But it really amazes me how even when people cover a song, they can completely change the meaning without changing any lyrics. Like Johnny Cash covering Hurt is amazing. Like, he made it into a song about him dying and knowing that he was going to die, which just blows my mind, because Trent Reznor wrote it as a song from a guy who was already dead. Like, they only changed one lyric.
Yeah, especially with that, even just not even change the lyrics, just the inflection of the way that it's sung. You know, you can if you change the inflection, it changes the meaning completely.
Yeah, it totally does. There's you know the song "One" by U2. Damien Rice covered that, and he, like, none of the lyrics were changed, but he just changed the way it's sung, and his version of it is a really, like, harrowing tale of a man with a broken heart, and you can tell that by listening to it. If you heard that for the first time and never heard the U2 version before, you would be convinced this is a song written from a really lonely guy who's really upset that his girlfriend or wife or whatever either left him or died or something. And then you listen to the U2 version and you're like,
what?
Yeah, Bono's a prick, isn't he? Like, it's mental how that happens. That's just all creativity. And that, I guess, would you say, like, it's more difficult to do that with movies or books, I guess? Well, you know, I mean, you can definitely. I mean, there's been examples of the ability to change, you know, completely the meaning. I mean, editing, especially in movies, editing is the way that you can change the meaning of a scene, of the way something's shot. Well, not the way something's shot, but the way something's presented. Yeah.
You know, the best example of that I can think of is, have you seen the one Mrs. Doubtfire? Where was it Mrs. Doubtfire? Someone edited it to make it seem really menacing from Mrs. Doubtfire, like, as
really?
Mrs. Doubtfire being very, it was Mrs. Doubtfire. Give it a watch. It's, you know, it's really quite something. You know, the difference between, because I'm pretty sure everyone's seen Mrs. Doubtfire. Everyone's well aware of, you know, that it's this light-hearted film. But then the edit that they've done is to make it as a horror film.
Oh shit!
And it just completely changes it, and it's all just from the editing.
I'll leave the link for that in the description.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Shining one?
No, I haven't.
It's some guy has turned The Shining into a comedy.
Laugh track and all?
I don't think there's a laugh track, but it starts out like, he's a writer who wants to spend more time with his son. And it shows his son then on the little tricycle, like, cycling around the area, and Jack Nicholson's really weird looking laugh and everything, but it presents it fucking brilliantly. And then it doesn't say The Shining, it ends with like, Shining, like, and then coming to the cinema soon. It's so fucking good. Like, I'll find that for you as well and show you that and put that in the description.
But I think that's as close as it gets to singing something differently, is the way that it's edited.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially, and this is actually incredibly prevalent in TV and reality TV, because
for sure.
You know, reality TV and the way that it's edited. And I work with in a company that edits a fair few reality TV shows, and the way that things can be spun is, you know, just by cutting a sentence and by, you know, putting one shot with another.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
I've noticed.
It's eye-opening.
Even from doing my own videos, like, I had one video one time I did a squad builder, and the team was terrible, and I was doing the live commentary section, and I went fucking mental. Like, I don't really get angry a lot at FIFA. Like, people don't really hear me rage an awful lot, but I was fucking fuming for the majority of this video. And then when I edited it, I cut things, I changed things a little bit, and it sounded fine. It sounded like I was a completely rational thinking critic of the team who played it, didn't like it, but that's it. Whereas in reality, I was like, fuck this fucking team. I couldn't believe that I even managed to change it. Like it's just like you can edit something to. It's really good. That had nothing to do with the bucket list.
No, yeah, I was going to say we should really get back on track with this whole bucket list thing.
Yeah.
I knew this would happen. This is what always happens.
We haven't talked in like ages, so it's
no,
fine.
Yeah, it's been a while.
What do you have anything else?
I mean, can complain about cliches all we like, but I do want to go skydiving, and I do want to.
Same, man. I want to see the Northern Lights.
Yeah, I really want to see the Northern Lights.
Have you seen that thing where you can like stay in some little pod?
Yes,
of a room?
the glass pod.
Yeah. That looks fucking.
Yeah, that looks
incredible.
fucking amazing.
I have to have a go at that before I die.
No, yeah,
sure.
definitely. But another one, I suppose, that something that's pretty unrealistic and something that's actually never going to happen is I'd love to go to space.
Yeah, I hear that.
And I know this is something that you'll definitely agree with me on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But unfortunately, I feel like we're just a little too early.
Yeah, we are.
To live out that kind of experience. But yeah, that would be fantastic to be able to go to space.
I feel like I was born in the wrong time. Like I belong in some
born
future
too early.
where like that's something that genuinely I think a lot. Like people say, oh, I should have been born in the 80s or whatever. Like I should have been born in the 80s, but the 2080s. Like I need space travel in my life and like all of that stuff.
Space travel would be, that is the. I said that travelling the world is number one. Travelling the world is number one on the things that might actually happen list.
Yeah.
Space travel is, top of the list of things that I've never got a chance of doing.
I actually today watched, and I've seen this 100 times, and I'm sure you've seen it as well, The Pale Blue Dot from Carl Sagan.
Yeah.
And just it came up on my Facebook feed, like the 3-minute video of him talking about kind of how insignificant everything is, but how beautiful that is in itself. And I watched it and I just sat there looking at the screen. I was like, fuck, like I get that feeling. And what the hell is wrong with my voice? I get that feeling an awful lot about just, I don't know, space is just fucking incredible. It blows my mind. Like, I love reading stuff about space, and I love movies that are about space and everything, and we need more space in our lives, I think.
Personal, actual.
Yeah.
All space, all
space
kinds of space.
Bar, like it's all up there.
So I can't really say more than what you've just said about the fact that I don't understand people that don't. I can't understand how someone could not enjoy like stargazing or just looking up, because there's just such a ridiculous amount out there. I mean, even just being able to see stars is pretty fucking ridiculous. The fact that I'm seeing these bodies of gas and light that are billions and trillions of miles away is ridiculous.
Yeah, man, that's another thing from my childhood at my cousin's house was it's out in the countryside, so there is no light pollution. And me and him used to skateboard an awful lot, and he's always been someone who just sort of, what's the word, he's just a doer. Like, he does things, he'll get something in his head, he has to do it straight away. So like, we'd be skateboarding on the concrete and he'd be like, nah, this isn't good enough, I need more stuff. And he would build a fucking ramp himself. Like, he built a quarter pipe by himself that's like bigger than any quarter pipe I've seen in any skate park in Ireland. And he had this amazing ramp that was like, it was a launch ramp that went up, and then it sort of plateaued at the top, and then it turns into a quarter pipe. But it was gigantic, and the two of us could lie on it and look up at the stars or whatever. And that sounds really gay, but it was in a totally platonic way. But it's fucking awesome, like looking at the stars and shit. It's so cool. Like the adult version of me does that when like I go out for a cigarette when I'm down there, and I just look up and I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. Gonna get cancer soon. Like, it's bullshit, but
No, yeah, I mean, like, I only really, because, growing up in London, you'd be surprised, you can see the odd 2 or 3 stars, and it's kind of really cool to look up at, those 2, 3, 4 stars, kind of pick them all out, and then when, like, you know, going back to when I went to Ecuador, going out into the rainforest and genuinely being, you know, miles from any form of actual, like, light pollution.
Yeah.
Being genuinely, and just the insane amount of stars. Like, and I was 17 at the time,
Fucking hell.
and that was my first actual experience of, like, proper stargazing, and it was mind blowing.
It is like
Right.
one of the things that I notice when I'm down the country is the instant difference between, like,
Yeah.
you don't really think of light pollution as a thing because
No,
like it's
because you can still see a couple of stars.
Yeah.
You can still see them, so it's like, oh no, they're still there.
yeah, it's just
like,
lights, you know. But
Yeah.
then when you look at it from a, like, the thick blackness where there are
Yeah.
no lights around for miles, and it is sublime. Like, it's unbelievable to look at.
no, yeah,
I'm definitely putting some spacey music in the background for this segment.
definitely,
It
yeah.
has to be done.
I mean, just, you know, I've always really enjoyed the, you know, the countryside as well. Just looking at nature, like that was my first kind of foray into photography, was photographing landscapes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was where I got my start in photography, and how I've followed.
You once tweeted a picture
film.
from you were walking to college or university or I don't know, whatever. This was years ago. You tweeted a picture
Yeah.
of a fog just on the, and I looked.
Oh, that was from my dorm window.
Was it?
Yeah.
I just you said I don't want to be raped by zombies or something. But
Yeah.
that picture was incredible. Like, just
Cheers.
I know what you mean by just looking at just nature and just being like, yeah, like, that's fucking cool. Like, I love things like on Imager. Sometimes you see those the wallpapers that they have that are 1080p and just fucking incredible to look at as well.
Yeah.
I love stuff like that.
No,
When
yeah.
I was a kid, I did see a lot of that. Like, spending time in my cousin's house, there's no real alternative to that. Was you had to go outside and sort of take advantage. Like, there's a river next to his house, and we once took a boat down the river, and it was like really fucking. It was weird for me because I'm afraid of water, but I don't know. Like, it was a lot of fun just because it was like the whole river was like tunneled by trees and stuff.
Yeah.
So it looked really like something out of a movie, and it was awesome. And
Yeah.
fucking Jesus, I actually had a good childhood. Like, that's what I've learned in this episode. I did some great things. Never get those days back. But no, yeah, it's fucking traveling is really the ultimate thing, isn't it? I guess for people like us, like you.
No, yeah, I think so, yeah.
It's appreciating the aesthetics of the planet itself and what makes it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's weird because I have no interest in touristy stuff. Like, my cousin came over from Canada last year, and she was like, yeah, let's go see the Cliffs of Moher, and I was like, oh, just fucking Google it. Like, who wants to go and see that? Who cares? I guess you don't really appreciate what's in your own backyard, though.
Yeah,
or whatever.
It's a whole different ball game when you're going to, you know, just a country that's thousands of miles away from home.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's a different culture.
You know, I'll never. I regret the fact that I wasn't able to take a decent camera with me to Ecuador.
Yeah.
You know, I had a little point and shoot, you know, a little compact digital camera that ran off AA batteries.
I had a 5 pound disposable camera. No, but that I'd say Ecuador was incredible.
It was.
Did you see a woman there called? No, just kidding.
Yeah, I did actually. Met plenty of them. You know, they all tried to add me on Facebook though, which was weird.
If that's true, then we're done professionally. But yeah, I don't know. Travel is just it's the ultimate thing. There are some things I want to see. You know, one thing I would love to do, and this is going back to your impossible things that will never happen, is I'd love to be in some kind of submarine with like glass walls. Like, how does it?
I know what you mean. They do boat tours where the boat's got a glass bottom.
That's right. Yeah, I should actually
so
just
that
do
you
that.
can see everything below you.
It's more practical.
Yeah. I'm imagining. You know when James Cameron went down to the Titanic,
that's exactly
in
what
that little one-man submarine. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, same. Like, I'd love to do that. Even like I would forego my crippling fear of the ocean for that, because you're safe and secure in a little pod. But there's these restaurants in Dubai that are like, you know, they're basically an aquarium. They're basically SeaWorld, but it's a really fancy like 5-star restaurant that you or I will never be able to afford even a lobster from. But while you eat, like, you see sharks and, well, I don't know if there's sharks. You see fish and like wildlife like all around you floating through in the sea, and that is just fucking incredible to me. Like, I have to experience that just for the serene sort of feel that you would have in it. But I don't know if any of that is. Like, I wonder if I was there, would I appreciate it as much as I like the idea of doing it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think to some degree there is, you know, it's like meeting your favourite celebrity.
Yes.
It's never going to live up. I'm saying it's never going to live up to the expectations. You know what? Half of these things probably will, to be honest.
Yeah, in all honesty.
I have faith that a lot of these things would probably live up to the expectations. But you know, there's a good reason why I'm not particularly fussed about meeting celebrities, because, you know, I am worried that my favourite celebrities, whoever they may be, will be outed to me as
wankers,
awful people.
Yeah, I've actually said that like tons of times on my channel as well. It's not something that interests me at all. There are some who I know are good people. Like, I have no doubt that if I met Ellen Page, that she'd be
a wonderful person. Yeah,
like, it's obvious.
No, yeah, of course.
And the same way, I think Bruce Springsteen would be pretty down to earth as well, because I know several people who've met Bruce Springsteen, and like, there's a Springsteen community on the internet, and it's fucking massive. And they've all, well, loads of them have met him, and like nobody has ever said a bad word about him. So, and I'd say Axl Rose is probably a lovely person too, who is a fucking cunt. But yeah, I think I don't know. I you know what's weird, right, is that we say all of these things that we'd like to do and everything, but I don't know, I can't speak for you. In fact, I can, because you're not the same as me in this sense, but I take literally no steps to attempt to achieve these things. Like, for me, it's like, I'd love to go on that glass bottom boat thing, and I'm thinking about it now. It's like, yeah, I'll go if I ever end up in a country where they do that, and
where they do it,
anything worth looking at. But I don't know why I don't do anything. Like, I think it's like what I was saying to you earlier. I listened to the Cracked podcast, which for anyone listening, it's an amazing podcast. And there was a guy on it called David Wong, who I've mentioned far too many times. I might as well just go and marry him. But he said something that was really interesting, that was like, you don't think of the you of tomorrow as being the same person as the you of today, and all of your problems, like, now that you just decide to say, oh fuck it, I don't care about that, that's for the you of tomorrow to worry about. And that's like, there are so many things that I need to do to sort of like sort myself out and put these plans in motion, you know, and start this work in progress, but I never do, and it's really annoying knowing that and not doing anything about it at the same time. I guess I'm just lazy ultimately. But
I think the unfortunate thing for our kind of you know, our kind of dreams and aspirations, especially the ones that we've been talking about, you know, that are almost less achievable, you know, the travelling one is probably the best example. It's just that money, like, quite simply, the amount of money required to see these things to any kind of enjoyable degree, you know, it's, you know, as much as you can say that it's something that, you know, you put the you of tomorrow to worry about, you know, financial debt isn't something that I'd ever kind of forego just to see the, you know, just to see the world.
No, me neither.
No, massive financial debt is not something that I can really put myself in, because while I can get drunk or when I've got work in the morning and think, fuck it, tomorrow me will deal with the hangover.
Yeah.
You know, the hangover of, you know, a couple grand debt is not something that I take lightly.
No, me neither. But like, there's something wrong with me and the way I view money. I don't view it the same way other people do. Like, I'm completely unfazed by it. Not that I would be willing to forgo that much debt or whatever, but I have just got no motivation to get money. And it's so weird, because I had this thing where I was planning on going to New York, which I can't do now because I can no longer afford it, because my computer keeps blue screening all the time, and I need a new one, like, it, because of what I do and everything. But that's the last straw for me, you know, is that I need a new computer, so now I have to get it, so I have to get money to get it. but other than that, I just don't fucking care about money. Like, I'm just completely not bothered by it, and that's to a degree, it's probably a lot healthier than people who choose money over other things. But I guess that's a subjective thing that you can't really gauge, probably. But yeah, I just don't care. I'm far more concerned with just doing what I do, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't really think that we can examine the bucket list ideas that we have any further. But one thing I'd like to ask you is there anything that you've, apart from when you were 11 3/4, is there anything that you've done that has been marked off your bucket list, or that you think could be something that you would mark off your bucket list? Anything you've achieved or anything? I know it's a hard question. For me, it was when I was 17, maybe 16, I moved to Scotland, and I just remember it as being something that I wanted to do for a long time, and that I had to do. And then I did it, and like, I lived by myself and everything, and it's definitely an experience that has taught me a lot about the world, and you know, it's shaped the way that I am today and things. And that's something that I had to do, and it's something that's definitely marked off the bucket list, is live in another country by myself. Like,
I mean, in a similar vein to that, just being able to go away to university and live independently with my parents, and not, you know, people, you know, you'll hear plenty of students saying, "Oh, you know, I've only got this much left of my overdraft," or you know, I've got this much money left until, you know, X date when I get my next student loan in. I've never had to worry about that because I've not been a dickhead with my money. Like, you know, I've always tried, you know, use the overdraft as as you should. You know, I've used the overdraft as a backup in case things go horribly wrong, not as a it's free money kind of thing.
Yeah, I've never ever gone into my overdraft.
Not quite being, you know, something that I'll tick off my bucket list, but something you know, I'm sort of proud of, is, you know, being able to go away and be financially and, you know, just generally independent of my parents without, you know, getting myself into any sort of debt.
It's an achievement,
which
like, in itself, you know? Like,
it is. So, but then apart from that, obviously Ecuador is something that, going to Ecuador and I suppose South America is, you know, one that I can cross off my bucket list, although, you know, I'd love to go back.
Yeah.
You know.
That's one. I'm adding Ecuador to my bucket list. I went to Sevilla in Spain, or Seville, and that was incredible. Like, it was a completely cosmopolitan place. Like, it was not a touristy place at all. There was a Burger King and a Domino's, and that was it for the entire city. Like, there was nothing else there like that. And we ate our food in, like, Spanish restaurants and spoke to people in Spanish, because no one there spoke English. Like, it wasn't an easy touristy place to go to. But it was incredible. Like, I would definitely love to go back there as well. And every single woman there was like a 10 out of 10. Just unbelievable. I swear to God, this is true of Seville. It has the nicest women on the planet in it, and that is something that I will fight to the death over in order to defend. But
yeah, I mean, you know, just you mentioned about eating, you know, Spanish food. Something that I've just remembered. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the podcast before. I'm pretty sure I might have mentioned it to you before. But when I was in Ecuador, because of the reason I went there doing something called the World Challenge. Which is it's something to do. I did it through the school basically, and it wasn't all just, you know, we had 2 weeks of trekking, you know, through a rainforest, and I went up Cotopaxi volcano and stuff like that, and then there was a week of rest and relaxation where we did things like water rafting, zip lining, you know, that kind of thing, and then there was a week where we had to do community like charity work basically, and we kind of got there. And what we were doing was we were filling these 6 foot by 6 foot, you know, it was basically, you know, 6 foot by 6 foot metal cage, a steel cage, if you like.
Inside a steel cage.
Filling these big metal cages with rocks and, you know, kind of just debris to build a retaining wall to stop the only wall into this small Ecuadorian village from collapsing when there was heavy rain.
Fucking hell.
And 2 schools had been there on a similar kind of thing previously, and they'd filled 3 of these cages we were there for 5 days, and me and I think it was 14 others, we filled 9 cages
Fucking hell.
in 4 days, and the other schools had been there longer, if anything, if I remember correctly. So, you know, we fucking outdid them by a mile.
So you are an all-around Ecuadorian hero.
Yeah.
There are statues of you
and then,
in Ecuador. Is that what you're saying?
To a degree, yeah. No, but then at the end, you know, at the end of our time we were kind of camping and living with the, you know, with this small village community. At the end of our time there, they put on this big feast of all traditional Ecuadorian food. You know, alpaca. There was some guinea pig. You know, and just all this ridiculously delicious food that you know, they were saying, you know, we didn't do this for anyone else, because the other schools, because they didn't do the job that you did for us.
They were a bunch of wankers.
Yeah, basically. Just parring off these other schools.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was just, you know, and I know it might be a cliche for people to say that charity work is really rewarding, but it, you know, it is when you do it right.
Yeah, that's a fucking
so
incredible story. Like,
I know, so that's something that I can tick off my bucket list, I guess.
do you realise how many women would fall in love with you as soon as you tell them that story? That's mental. Like, that, I don't know, that's one of those things that is like, that in itself is almost a cliche of how you would describe someone who's like, I don't know, like, say you want to get with a girl but she's got a boyfriend, and he turns, oh, he's some wanker who went to Ecuador and saved a village from the devil and then got rewarded with some charity bullshit dinner. Like, that's you right now. You're
Yeah.
that guy. But that's a fucking amazing story.
Yeah, I do have a photo of us actually stood on top of, me and all the other people that I was with stood on top of the retaining wall that we built.
Fucking hell.
I've got it somewhere.
Back when you
I'll
looked
find
like
it and show
the
off.
Finchmeister.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, Shermanator. What am I talking about?
Yeah, Shermanator.
Yeah, that's a mad story.
No, yeah.
I don't know how to end this episode, but I do want to say that one thing that we should all wish to tick off our bucket lists involves freeing, essentially, ourselves from our our aquatic, reflective enemies that we have,
Yeah.
who are populating not only the oceans, but also our minds, and Justin Timberlake's dad's mind. So, just to create some awareness for that, that's something that you all need to watch out for, is the sea people. They will get you.
Oh yeah, and ladies, feel free to, I'll open a PO box, and if you just want to send me your panties at all after that story, I'll leave the PO box address in the description.
I'm sure that the 4 women who subscribe to my channel will be absolutely thrilled with that information. That's,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of the show. Thanks for coming on the show again.
No worries. I'm glad I'm back for now.
To use a cliche to sum up an episode where we said a lot of cliches.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember what the cliche even is. What is it, like, don't leave it so long next time, or something like that, or
Something like that.
don't
maybe.
be a stranger.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I'll do what I want.
That is pretty much the most perfect response to when people say, I fucking hate when people say that to me as well, like, don't be a stranger. Yeah, well, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time with you, alright? So that's just the way that it is. But yeah, no, thanks for coming on the show, I appreciate it. Thanks for listening to all of you people. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment saying something, I don't know, maybe.
Saying things, yeah.
Yeah, saying things, yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah, and stuff. Mostly stuff, though. Alright, let's end it.
In the midnight hour, when the sun goes down, when the sky